Welcome, 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 y'all. This is a very special episode of Girl, Come Sit With Me. And in honor of Men's Health Month, I decided to switch it up a little bit and say, you know what? Hey, sir, come sit with me. Y'all, we have Calvin early in the building. Calvin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing beautiful. I'm in my happy place. So I'm in a great space right now.
The things that you've been making shake is insane.
Thank you.
Y'all, pay attention to his shirt. So his shirt says Poetry Potluck. So
Hey,
Calvin,
cousins.
yo. So Calvin is the owner of the Poetry Potluck. Now, I know many times when we hear Poetry Potluck, we think poetry and food. But one of the things I realized is the Poetry Potluck is so much more than that. It is the community. It's also the resources. So I signed up for health insurance
Hmm.
when I moved down here at the Poetry Potluck. My sons love. There's always different activations. It even gives opportunities to those in the community like myself. I was honored to be at multiple.
So like it's here to help everyone.
And that is exactly what it's doing. That is exactly what it's doing. And fun fact, Joy named my podcast. Hey girl, come sit with me. Let's talk about love and identity. We've been breaking chains, healing from pain, laughing through storms and dancing in rain. Hey girl, come sit with me. Because the way you're able to make these opportunities, not just for us as individuals, but also for our community. You literally bring the Poetry Potluck to all of these different historical Black owned places, places that are for us. And what inspired you, or how did you even curate that idea?
So that'll take me back to something you said earlier, and I only bring it up because it's a point for me to make. When you said own, right? Like I would say I don't own the poetry potluck. I founded it, but we
Ah,
own
it
it.
feels like a collective.
Yeah, and
It
it
really does.
started for that reason. It started because there were poets, simply poets and creatives, who just didn't know each other. They were activating in the same city, but in almost like separate communities that occasionally intertwined.
Mm.
But a backyard barbecue is one of the most comfortable spaces for people to get together. And it started as a legit, just a backyard barbecue. Everybody brings something. We did a little poetry, you know what I mean? Because it was what the people needed. And everything that's grown into the poetry potluck since then has been a contribution from the thoughts, the actions of the people who attend the poetry potluck.
I love that. Even when I'm there, you feel. I remember when I first moved, I'm very scary when it comes to my children, or very protective, as most parents naturally are. But when we went there, automatically felt like my kids are safe. We're good. Even other adults are looking out for my kids. It's
Yeah.
really a family. When you say cousins, that's a real thing. You truly have embodied that. And now you've expanded it because the poetry potluck even happens out of town sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we in 2023 was the first time we took the poetry potluck on the road. We went to New York. Well, actually 2022 we went to New York, and then again in 2023. And that was like really what sparked it. Just having this desire to see like what does this look like in another space? Does it still hold up?
Mhm.
Years ago, 2014, I was invited to Abu Dhabi to go and perform, and I remember feeling like, is this gonna resonate with people? And I did my work. I had a great response from the audience. People came up to me and talked to me about my poetry, and it was a reminder that like no matter how different we are, we do share a lot of the same similar experiences. We laugh, we love, we
Mhm.
experience mourning, we experience hardship. Like these things are common to all people. And the same thing here. I felt like the poetry potluck would work in other spaces because the shared interests of people in different spaces is exactly the same. No
Absolutely.
matter where you are, people desire and want fellowship. No matter where you are, people need access to vital resources. All of these things are common. People want to go out and have a good time without worrying about the cost of food and the cost of drink. It does not matter where you go. That is going to be a common theme, and that is definitely going to be something that makes people gravitate towards a gathering like a poetry potluck.
And I don't think that people realize how often the poetry potluck happens. Isn't it once a quarter, I believe,
Well, it's
or every three
it's
months, and
almost like
even
once a
more
quarter is
than
spread
that?
out. Yeah. So we January is our annual family cookout. April we activate for National Poetry Month. In June, we activate for Juneteenth. Um, Juneteenth. August we do our Maiden Day, and then in November we do our annual Friendsgiving. So
Friendsgiving is
yeah, and then we do two family vacations a year. So the ones that I mentioned are what we do at home, and then we do two family vacations. This year we did Detroit,
what up,
and
though.
yeah, Detroit was an adventure. Detroit was absolutely an adventure. The love there was so great. The Howard Family Bookstore, and it's one of the reasons why we do it, why we take it to other cities.
And even it's the fact that you take it to other cities and you still manage to make sure you find black owned places.
Yeah,
How do you even know in different cities to even go about that avenue?
you have to activate in my networks. Um, I think early on in life, probably one of the first networks I could say I was a part of was just Miami in general. So schools might have been my very first network, people that I met in school. My second network that really was probably like rap communities, rap creative communities. Later on in life, it was the poetry community. And then from being a part of the poetry community in South Florida, I went to Southern Fried and I started traveling to different places. That's a not just a national network, that's a global network. When I mentioned Abu Dhabi, it's because of that network
Oh,
that happened.
wow.
And now I'm a member of Black Men Build. Black Men Build is a national power building organization. We have a national network. So when we just went to Detroit, we activated at the Howard Family Bookstore, which is the Black Men Build Hub in Detroit. So it's connecting to the networks that you have access to. You don't have to like reinvent the wheel, go somewhere completely blind. Somebody knows somebody that can connect you. And I also find that it's better that way because you have a familial kind of connection. You know what I mean? You're not
Yes,
a stranger
yes.
off the street. It's not a cold call. It's hey, Dom, do you know somebody in Atlanta who can connect me to this person? And when Dom calls and Dom says, I need to connect you to my friend Calvin, this is something totally different than
Now I'm
me
gonna,
being.
you know what I realized? You are a historian. When you think about it, you are a wealth of knowledge. Every
I
time I
appreciate
come
that.
around, I didn't realize a lot of people there had no idea about the vast history of Virginia Key Beach. Mind you, my granny would tell me stories about how they weren't allowed on South Beach, so
Hmm.
they would go to Virginia Key Beach,
Yep.
and that was the beach for us. And you make sure everywhere you go, you make sure you educate all of us on the history, and you make it more, you make the experience feel more welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate. So my um years ago, I went somewhere and I was in Oakland, and somebody was taking me around, and me and a group of friends, and this young lady knew all about her city. And I realized like I didn't know that much about my city, and I didn't like that. So I made it a mission to start learning things specifically about Black Miami after that, and then more parts, not just our culture, but I want to know more and how it connects to our culture. And then I had a desire to share that. And so when I thought about like where could I never wanted to live in a single place. I felt like there was something else that was needed, and I like the idea of moving around. So why? Because I think that that's one of the ways that we build a connection to community. I think that people leave the city so much, and it's easier to leave because you don't have a connection outside of your
You don't have
immediate
those
family.
roots.
Yeah, your connection is to your family. Your family can come visit you. Your
Yes.
family can move. You know what I mean? You can come back and
Hmm.
visit them, but the city itself does not move when you leave. The city is left behind when you leave, and we lose a lot of people that it's the brain drain. You know what I mean? Like we lose a lot of amazing people who would help influence who we are in the city, but they don't have a connection to it for one reason or another. And this is one way I think that we can help people create connections to the city.
I love that. And speaking of creating, one of the things that I enjoy is you open up the floor for all types of creatives. I'm talking about painters. I get my waist beads. I wait for the poetry potluck to get my waist beads. My favorite knitted hat that I have, that's so cute that fits because y'all know, with all these
All the
locks and
lots.
everything. What? And she made it on the spot. So I love that. And speaking of creative, one of the things that I really appreciate is how you make the space for all these other creators. But I don't think people realize you yourself are a world renowned poet.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. As you say that
Yes.
out loud, somebody over the weekend just asked me like, "Hey, are you ever gonna do poetry again?" I was like, "What's happening here? What? When did I stop? What's
You
happening?"
never stopped.
But I think it's like I'm definitely in a place where like I've done a lot. I've done a lot with my poetry career that I'm
Maya
really proud of.
Angelou co-signed you. Like, I'm sorry, I just had to put that out there. Nice little plug there. Insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just I'm in a season where I really get like so much of my joy from watching.
Mm.
I really do get like I had an experience this weekend where I had an opportunity to get in what I think will probably be a historic photo. You know what I mean? Like it'll probably be something that people look back on years later. What you won't see in the photo is me on the opposite side just looking at the photo being taken. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because that was what made me most happy. That was what I needed. You know what I mean? It was my brothers. You know what I'm saying? It was poets who like I came up with. I came up under really watching them, and they all came back to this event that we all go to, this Southern Fried this year. Um, and I mean, not in one space, all of them together. Years, 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 years. So it's just it's no different to me than that with the poetry. I sat back in the rooms and I just listened. You know what I mean? And like just listening to people share their stories is where I'm at. Like I want to provide a platform for that. That makes me more happy than me being on stage.
I love that because I've seen you perform even at your one man show. You all his one man show was incredible and so inspiring. And you literally received a standing ovation and the room was packed. The entire think about it, the entire theater was packed and all of us were floored.
I was shocked.
Floored.
I was shocked. Thoroughly.
Really?
Yeah, I
All of
was
us
shocked.
knew it was gonna be packed. We knew, oh, let's get there early.
Yeah, and I mean there were people with tickets who ended up not being able to make it. So there were even more tickets sold than there were people in the building.
That is incredible. That's a
Yeah,
testament to who you are and your gift.
thank you.
Even how you coach others. Like you've helped me with some of my poems. And
Thank you.
I'm just so grateful for it. Because what you do, you have this thing where you will talk to us and make us step outside of our poem. Look at it from the outside and you'll be like, okay, now step back into it. What can the your audience think of the five senses? You will always say things like, what will they hear? What will they feel? What will they see? Are they seeing what you're seeing? Are they supposed to be looking at it from your point of view or theirs? You have this way of opening our mind, and you will turn. I remember I wrote a sonic. I'll never forget. I wrote a sonic, and I didn't even share the sonic with you. I ended up wrote a sonic, watched you perform, and I listened to you coach another poet.
Oh wow.
I listened to you coach. I was eavesdropping, totally eavesdropping. I listened to you coach another poet, and I went back home that night, and that sonic turned into an entire poem. And the first time I performed it, you ended up being at the open mic, and I was like, "Oh, Calvin's here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna perform it." I performed it, and you complimented me after, and I told
Oh
everybody
wow.
and they mama
Wow. Is
that
this
you
at Limbo?
complimented. Yes, at Limbo Lounge.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yes, when I tell you, I told everybody, it was just an honor because you don't fluff. You're very straight to the point, very direct, but we know it's coming from a place of love.
Yeah. I think and I'm doing even better than my predecessors. My predecessors were a lot rougher. in their language and the way that they
Really?
spoke. And I would say
Okay.
it might have been effective, but it wasn't always kind. But it was honest, and it's always gonna be the truth. So I think that like our goal is always to find like balance. Like, how can I do this a little bit different? What would be my technique? Like, I don't think even if I wanted to, I could do it the way that they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it would be
Yeah,
the same. You know.
that's real.
Um, so it just taught me to find like, and I've also done it differently, and it didn't work out. I'm like, okay, how can I say that differently to somebody else that didn't have the desired response, you know?
Mhm.
And also that whole unsolicited advice thing, that's a very careful thing, you know? I don't, if somebody asks me, maybe I'll say something, or if I have a good relationship,
Mm.
and then I'll ask, are you okay with me sharing a thought that I had, or do you have capacity to listen to what I might have to share with you? Because
I love
and
that.
sometimes people be like, nah, I don't really want to hear about it. And that's cool. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
That's real.
Yeah, you got to be willing to accept that.
But that's a testament, really, to everything that the word cousins embodies. And that's why I'm so excited for the poetry potluck. Typically, it's on Sundays,
Hmm.
but this go round is this Saturday,
Yep.
right here where we are at Charles Hadley Park. And you not reinvented, but what would be the proper term? Because the way this space has been revitalized,
There you go.
like
That's it. Revitalized, reactivated, renovated,
literally,
re.
yes. Yes, all the reads, okay? All the reads. And even then, you called on your network and you were like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Hmm.
If you have time, donate your time. I'm not asking for any money, just donate your time. And all of us came, and now we can look and say, ooh, I painted that triangle right there. I outlined that right there.
Yeah. In terms of showing up, that was a bigger deal to me than my one man show.
Really?
In terms of like people showing up to paint this skating rink in the sun and like really get down, really mess up their clothes, really like that experience and coming out for 10 days straight, that was way bigger to me
Mm.
than my one man show. Like people came out to like truly volunteer their time and be of service. Like that was immensely impactful to me on an internal level. And we reactivated this space. Really, initially it started with my own self interest. It was me saying, I don't want to have to leave my neighborhood to skate.
That's right.
I was already feeling like that before I knew this existed. And then I came across the skating rink, and I remember asking somebody, "What is this? Like, why do I feel like I'm at this park all the time and I ain't never seen this. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. I've been coming to
Yeah.
this park for years. Like, why is it like they just dropped it here and I missed it?" They're like, "No, it's a skating rink. It's always been a skating rink." And I walked around, and the floor was cracked, and it wasn't safe. And I heard stories about people like skates dipping down into the crack, people
Oh,
cascading over the railing. Like it's
and
happened a
falling
few times.
hurts when you're
Yeah.
skating.
One guy like broke his jaw or something out here. So I was like, I really want to figure out. Like I'll just ask. Like really, I started with just asking. One, whose job is it to get it fixed?
Mhm.
Two, how do I contact that person? And then again, circling back to my network. Hey, I want to do this. I understand that it's this person's job. Can you connect me with them? I got a call one day. There was something going on here at the Carrie P. Meek Center, Senior Center, where I work with the seniors and I've done photography projects with them. And somebody called me and said, "Hey, the assistant city manager is down here for an event. I told her about you and what you're trying to do. You need to get down here and meet her." So I get down, I come down here, I meet her. She's excited about the project. The city agreed at that moment to do. She like made a soft agreement to repair it. Then I came to a different community meeting at the same senior center. I was talking about the project and what it would cost to paint it. And at
Mhm.
that time, Commissioner Christine King was in the at the meeting, and she overheard what I was saying. She agreed then and there to give the $10,000 to do the painting. That allowed me, and then continuing to work with Christine King's office, the Liberty City Community Trust, Bank United, like a few different people have really like helped to pour resources. Safe in the 305 grant gave me one of the first sponsors or the first sponsorship I ever got, which allowed me to do an act and just once they repaired the rink,
Mm-hmm.
that allowed me to do an event here to just tell people about it more. That was even before we painted. So it's been a lot of different support and people pouring into it.
And a lot of groundwork that we
Yeah,
don't even see. Now to come back and have another poetry potluck here this Saturday from what time again?
from 3 to 8 this Saturday. And I also wanted to
So
mention you mentioned that it's not usually on Sundays. I think that is since we're documenting something, I think it's important to mention that it is our values, our community, conversation, connection, and culture. And we've also been talking about network. The poetry potluck is on a Saturday this time around because that was what was required to keep the community in loop in our network. So on Friday, there will be the first ever Liberty City Book Fair, hosted by the Roots Book Fair and Marketplace. They're going to be blocking off the whole street, and then on Sunday, every year, one of our primary community partners here, the Manor Park Friends Forever, they will be hosting their annual Father's Day event here at the park. So it it mattered to put it on a Saturday this time to make it work for the community so that everybody could. It's a jam packed weekend. It would have been
mm-hmm.
harder to do with everything on the same day. You know what I
Yes,
mean? And it's an
agreed.
important time for all us to program. I think that all of it can be done. I think that people are looking for things to do. I think that we don't have a shortage of events. You know what I mean? Especially Black people are looking for things to do. And there are a lot of people who are coming into town around this time. So we
Mm-hmm.
really we want to keep the community active for this weekend, and it worked better to work together.
That is so true because now you have a weekend instead of everything being on one day.
Hmm.
And it's summertime as well. So now people have something for them to do with their family on Friday,
Hmm.
Saturday, and Sunday. So the whole weekend is already taken care of.
Yeah.
And isn't this space about to be renamed?
Yes. So we put in legislation a little while ago. Well, we worked with Commissioner Christine King's office and her team, and the commissioner and the chairwoman herself, to put in the legislation to have this skating rink and officially named the Railroad Shop Roller Rink. It will be named after the historic community that once stood where this park is now.
Wow, that is incredible. See what I told you? You're a historian.
Thank you.
You're literally bringing back the history into all of us. I
Yeah.
love that. Do you feel a sense of pride or has it set in the impact that you're making, not just for your family, but also for those of us who are around you, who have the honor to be around you, and for the community as a whole? Do you understand the impact?
Um, no, I would say I probably don't. Not fully, not fully.
Mm.
And I know because when people do share things like even what you just said, there's like a whatever the feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but like you just said something that I don't know. So that
Mm.
means that I don't know. Like I responded, my body responded internally to it like it was new information.
Wow.
And it is information that I've heard before, but every time I hear it, it's like, yeah, like really, is it really making an impact? But the objective is is to keep going. As I learn more, I want to share more. So it's also bringing people on my personal journey. I'm already, and I also have to get better at like staying in place
I
because
believe that.
I'm super excited about this. It's about to be named, and in November we're doing Millionaire Black Millionaires Row in the Lindsay House, and
What?
I'm super excited
Oh,
about
that's
that.
gonna
My
be
mind is
fun.
already there on Friendsgiving. It's also my favorite potluck of the year. So like it's just my mind is always like
On the go.
two potlucks ahead.
And see, that's interesting because, well, before we even switch gears, how do people support all of that, everything that you have going on?
So
How do we
we
support?
don't do a good job of the general public, the cousins really are present like physically, right? Like
Hmm.
not generally. We don't make a financial a lot, and I think that in the same ways that I look at it, like people will be willing to come out here and pay. People will be willing to give too, but we don't always make that. Like people pay a donation when they come in or whatever. People give a donation, but like ongoing donations or just donate on a regular basis. not often enough. We have a few corporate sponsors that really are believe in our work. Um, and we could be doing a better job of providing opportunities for the cousins to give back.
I love that.
But there is a donation link on
Very
our
good.
website.
That's what I needed. Okay.
Yes.
And then with the donation link, am I able to start a subscription where I can donate on a regular basis?
Yeah, there is. We use the Give Miami Day service every year,
Mm-hmm.
and they allow participants to be able to sign up for like running subscriptions.
Okay.
So we have like two people who like donate $25 every month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would love for us to, even if we can do something where we can mention it or where I can mention it more within the girl, come sit with me community.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind, I would love to do that because we have to keep things like this going in the community. Because when I volunteered, so Eat Well Exchange, the nonprofit I volunteer for, shout out to Eat Well
Shout out to Eat Well.
Exchange. Yo, we volunteer in there with the seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And we do
Just saw
cooking
Ashley here
classes.
yesterday.
See, yes, it's on Mondays. We volunteer here with culinary nutritional classes. When I tell you, I remember my first time instructing one of their classes,
Mm-hmm.
and you randomly popped up. It was, I
I'm
think,
always here. I loved it.
when I tell you, they was like, yeah, Calvin's gonna be here, and all of them was like, Calvin is supposed to be here, and they all just went and they started telling me I already knew about the portraits you do with them. When I tell you, you are loved, you are appreciated, you are needed
Thank you.
and valued. So this Saturday, what is going to be different about this poetry potluck, or what can people even expect for this Saturday, 3 to 8 p.m. at Charles Hadley Park? Poetry potluck, cousins coming through.
Well,
What can they expect?
I'm hoping that this poetry potluck will make Charles Hadley Park look the way that I remember growing up, coming here for Fourth of July, coming here for Christmas, stuff like that. It's gonna be full up and through this area of the rink. We're gonna have skate rentals. We'll have a bounce house, a huge bounce house obstacle course. We'll have a train ride going around for the kids. We'll of course have a DJ. We'll have some barbecue out here, barbecue that you can buy, and barbecue that'll be free to the community. We will also have, of course, live performances and poetry, a band. It's gonna be a really, really, really dope event, man. I'm excited. We're gonna have art walls and things up. It's a very full event. We're bringing the space in. Of course, we're gonna have some of your favorite vendors and community resource partners will also be here. So yeah, look forward to a great event. And because it's Men's Wellness Month, I think it's important to mention that Dade County Street Response will be here, doing exams and general checkups, handing out supplies and resources.
Oh, that's so
They
important.
are a completely free clinic right over here at the Miami Freedom Lab.
Mhm.
Also, the Black Collective will be here doing a hydration station. So we'll have plenty of water and things for people. I'm really excited.
Oh my goodness, that is going to be so much fun. Did you know? Well, I'm not sure if you remember, but my first activation ever as girl, come sit with me was right here at Charles Hadley Park at the Poetry Potluck.
The one that we did in that January.
No, this one was the one where I was stationed right there in the middle of the roller rink.
Okay, yeah. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and that also goes to show like just how much programming we've already done here. Like it actually surprises me how much programming has passed like this fast. And to be able to
Yes.
provide spaces like that. The first time we ever did anything like that was with Joy and CoSpace, you
Yep,
know?
her Joy has the five. Joy is the owner of CoSpace. She has the 5 minute podcast, which we love,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice because she brings that out everywhere as well.
Yeah, and what happened? She was telling me about the setup that they had at CoSpace, and I was like, "Can the stuff move? Like, can you bring it outside? What if you did it on site?" And that sparked a whole new thing. You know what I mean? And that gave me the vision. Like, I wouldn't have had that thought when a girl comes sit with me comes around. I'd be like, I don't know if that fits, but because Joy took a chance and did that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now it opened my mind to other possibilities. So I being able, we call them our cousins activations, which is basically us providing a space for cousins to test something out. Right over here behind the camera, we have Alexis, right?
Yeah.
With Gifts from
Hey.
Divine.
Mm-hmm.
And Alexis has done pottery making demos. She's done, which I don't know if we would call it horticulture or with the plants. Propagating,
Oh,
right?
propagating. There
So
we
like
go.
we've done so many different things, and that's her art, that's her work, and we want to provide an opportunity to bring it to new cousins, bring it to a platform. And she's also doing a service, just like you're doing a service, because you're interviewing business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. You're giving them an opportunity to share and expand their platform. So like it's here to help everyone.
And that is exactly what it's doing. That is exactly what it's doing. And fun fact, Joy named my podcast.
Oh wow,
Yeah, she
I did not
named
know that.
Girl, come sit with me on a sister's walk. We were just walking around and she named it.
I love that. I love
Yes. Okay. What's something you wish people would know in our community?
that. I take it back to our values: community, conversation, connection, culture. I think that these are the things that have anchored our work. I think it's why the Poetry Potluck has seen not just success but sustained. Why it is sustained, why it is still here. I think it will no longer be here if there's no longer a need or a desire. And I think that as long as we are implementing practices that highlight and really cultivate community, conversation, connection, and culture, we'll be doing that right. And I think that if that is something that we can do in our day to day practice, how we treat one another, how we think of connecting, how we highlight and are a part of culture, I think that that continues to bring us closer, keep us closer, and strengthen bonds.
Oh my goodness, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
While you were saying that, you made me think of the poetry potluck you all did in Opalaka
Mm-hmm.
at what used to be, I believe it used to be the city hall.
Yep.
And they renovated it. It's newly revitalized. It looks beautiful. And it's interesting because now it looks like how it did when I was a little girl. And for years, once they shut it down, I would drive by and say, wow, I wish I could go inside there one day. I wish I could go inside there one day.
Same.
And I was able to do that for the first time at the Poetry Potluck. So it's these experiences that when we get to the Poetry Potluck, since you have turned this into a mecca in a sense, because it feels like every time you bring the poetry potluck to a different space, it feels like we're entering a mecca, and we know that it's for us. We know that we're safe, and then it starts bringing up all these old memories, like double dutch. We played double dutch at the poetry potluck. We've skated. We've line danced, learned line dances, all of these things, even have poetry workshops, all of these things that makes us go back into that inner child. And as we continue to heal our inner child, heal that part in us, the little boy, the little girl in us, we show up better as adults. So it feels as if we may enter the poetry potluck one way, but if I see all of us leaving better, I see all of us leaving in a better mental capacity.
I think the term cousins embodies a level of it brings out a part of our childlike nature, you know.
Yeah.
Like when I think of my cousins, there's a level of endearment. I feel like sometimes there are cousins that I have, I still interact with them almost like we are still kids, like if there's still there's a part of that. So when I think of calling everybody cousins and treating everybody with that nature, it just means something else. And we know that we spell it a certain way so that you can identify the poetry potluck cousins, but we know that saying cousins in throughout the Black diaspora is a way that we connect. The same way we call somebody auntie, the same way we call somebody aunt or uncle. You know what I'm saying? And that's in any across the diaspora. If you go to the continent, if you go to Africa, they call, you know what I'm saying, the guy at the corner store or at work, like that's uncle, that's auntie, like that's universal language to us. You know, so it's just a part of staying connected.
When you agreed to be on, girl, come sit with me. I was absolutely elated. Thank you so much. You're definitely a vital part of the girl, come sit with me. Even though this one is, hey, sir, come sit with me. You definitely have played a special role, and you've already played a special role in my growth. And now you're just permanently in my heart. And I'm noticing you're permanently in a lot of our hearts. So I just have to make sure I pour into you, remind you all of these things. And thank you so much. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You heard it here first on the Girl Come Sit With Me podcast. Make sure you come this Saturday right here at Charles Hadley Park from 3 to 8 p.m. The Poetry Potluck will have everything you can think of plus more. It's a family event. This Saturday, we have the renowned poet Calvin Early. Have a good one, y'all. Thank you.